Where am I looking? Right over here, right? Hey everybody, this is Dan, Korean Cardboard. I just learned about Benchclear, Mike Card Collector. This video is in response to your video asking for people to talk about meaningful friendships they've made in the card hobby or through YouTube. And that's what I'm doing. I know I'm late to the party. I found out about your channel late. And regardless, I still wanted to make this video because I think it's important. So I'm going to talk about people that have been, people I think about when I think about the hobby. And they're in no particular order. I have a list here. And I didn't want to try and forget anybody. So I'll try and go slow. I don't know how long this video will be, but I think it's important. First, I want to talk about Justin at Charm City Graphs. I met Justin, I think in 2015, maybe late 2014 here in Korea. He was in his most recent tour of duty with the Air Force. But he's back in Arizona now. And I met him on I believe I met him on the MyKBO.net's Facebook group, which is mostly foreigners in Korea that follow baseball. And it was started by Dan Kurtz, who's been on ESPN for the KBO games. They've had him on, and he did some interviews. But I met Justin through that website, and I met him up in Suwon where the KT Wiz play, and we actually made a trade that day. He gave me, I think I gave him some 2015 cards in exchange for some jumbo cards, one of which got graded. But Justin's always been a great guy, great friend of mine, and I'm always looking forward to talking to him, and hopefully I can see him again one day. I think we've only seen each other maybe 3 times for the time he was here in Korea. I think it was Justin. I think you were only here 1 year, right? Anyhow, Justin's become a great friend, and I always look forward to talking to him. Next is Dave, NPP Card Guy. You guys probably know about him. He doesn't have a YouTube, but he's on Twitter. I met Dave in 2014 when I started in the same year I moved to Korea in 2014. And I started collecting Korean cards, and then I made my blog, and then that's how Dave found me. And then I started helping him, giving him more information about Korean baseball cards. And then later on, I eventually got into collecting Japanese baseball cards. And I collect Lee Sung-yup. He's a retired Korean baseball player who also played in Japan. But he's one of the best ever, and so that's who I master set collect with PSA registry, and so that's how I've been continuously into Korean and Japanese baseball, because he has cards in both leagues, and I'm always trying to hunt them down on various websites or through people I know, and submitting those to be put on this PSA set registry, which could be a pain in the butt. Some of you guys may have seen me do this. But Dave, like I said, I've known him for about 6 years, and I finally met him 2 Januaries ago. I think it was January 2020. I met him in Tokyo. I decided to take a trip to Tokyo because he was going to be there, and I wanted to meet him at the same time he was going to be in Tokyo, because he went to Tokyo for a month and saw a lot of different baseball games in lots of different leagues in Japan. He's from Maryland. But he's been collecting Japanese cards and watching Japanese baseball for a long time. And Dave is a great guy. I still help him get some Korean sets locally, and I ship them to him. But Dave means a lot to me too in this hobby. And it was a pleasure meeting Dave a couple of years ago. And we went to various card shops throughout the area. We went to a baseball game together with Chiba Lotte Marines, lost to the Hanshin Tigers. And no, that was great. Gogo Marines, I think that's his Twitter handle. Steve? And I forgot the other guy's name. But they sold some tickets to Dave, and we went to the game together. That was my second Japanese game. So it's always a pleasure talking with Dave, and I hope to see him again one day. Next up I have is George, KBO Collections. George also lives here. He moved here before I did, and he lives up above north of Seoul. And I've only met George twice. Once in 2017 at an NC Dinos game, and then again this past January when I was coming home from vacation. I came through in through Seoul, and we met up and went to a baseball card shop that he knew about, and then we went out for dinner. But George, he's one of the guys that always responds to my videos, and I try to respond to his as well. And George has become a good friend, and we talk on the local Korean app, communication app, and so we're always keeping in touch. We make some trades, but we're both foreigners here in Korea doing the same job, so I think we can relate to each other a lot here. So it's always good talking to George, and I'm glad he's putting out more content. Next up, I have his Kin. You all know Kin is Bean's Ball Card Blog. Kin has been supportive as well. I have like 900 followers on Twitter, but it seems like I only interact with like 25 people, it seems like. But Kin's been great. He's always helping advertise and talk about going to visit my website and follow me on Twitter and things like that. But Kin's been great, and I hope to meet Kin one day. I'm always looking forward to his content as well, and I've been able to talk to him about some stuff outside of the hobby as well. Next I have is Jin. Jin is a Japanese. He lives in Tokyo. I've met Jin twice. I've been to Tokyo 3 times, and I think I met Jin the second time. I could be wrong, but Jin, every time I go to Tokyo, I try and meet up with him. He collects foreigners in other leagues as well, and I met up with Jin twice for dinner. He's a busy guy with a family, so I've only met him after work, and we haven't been able to go to shops together, but maybe one day we can. But I always look forward to Jin. I actually just started buying some Korean baseball cards for him on the Korean websites, and I've been helping him out that way, and he helps me out by buying some stuff for me in Japan. So it's always good helping scratch each other's backs. So I appreciate Jin's friendship. Next up is Ryan. Ryan is not on Twitter, but you guys probably know or have seen his visit his website at least once, and it's thiscardiscool.com. I'm sorry, .blogspot.com. This Card is Cool. Very nice guy. I met Ryan, I think, one time. Yeah, I think I met him one time, and he's been helping me with buying Japanese cards as well. Very nice guy. He always helps me talk about. He tells anytime I ask him about teaching in Japan, he gives me some information. Or anytime I have questions about Japan, he's always giving me information that I need. And I definitely appreciate Ryan's friendship. And so it's always nice to have Jin and Ryan in Japan when I need them, because they've been very helpful. And I definitely appreciate Ryan's friendship. Next up, Jason Schwartz, Heavy J28 on Twitter. I met Jason last year. I actually met him I went home for the National last year to Chicago, and I met up with Jason, and he invited me to a Saber meeting, and it was a blast. It was a day or a couple days before the actual National, and he and all the other people that were at the Saber meeting were really cool, and a lot of people brought some stuff, and we cracked some packs and traded cards, and it was really awesome. And meeting Jason was a pleasure. He's such a nice warm guy. And then I saw him again at the National and gave him my the Korean cardboard T-shirts that I made. And later on, I made him another shirts that he's advertised on Twitter. So I definitely appreciate Jason and all the stuff that he does for everybody on Twitter, as well as the Negro League charity work that you've been doing. So that's super awesome. Next up is my friend Nathan. He's not on Twitter or YouTube, but he's on the forum, one of the forums that I use, and he is the one that collects all of my stuff that I buy on eBay and ships it to me, as well as other stuff, scanning my cards on his V600 Epson and just I don't know what I would do without Nathan. I just want to mention, I don't know if he's going to see this, but he's been a lifesaver for me, and he's helped me out so much, and I wish I could meet him one day. He's in Alabama, so I don't know when I'm ever going to get down to Alabama, but he's been wonderful. I actually sold him a lot of my old Don Mattingly PSAs, and then we became closer after that. But Nathan's he's been godsend, and I appreciate all of everything that he's done for me. Lanny Ribes, you guys know him, Doc BZ17 on Twitter. Lanny's also a White Sox fan, and we've been communicating a little bit more recently, and we've made a trade. I sent him some Mark Burley's, a large collection of Mark Burley's I don't think he had, and then he sent me some White Sox stuff in return that I made a video of last week. So Lanny, it's always a pleasure talking to you. I don't know his name, but his Twitter is Kix821. He's Korean, but he lives in Japan, and he's helped me with some Easing Yup stuff, and he responds to my texts on, my Twitter tweets. I'm sorry, he responds to my tweets. So I always appreciate him, and I always try and follow him anytime he posts Korean or Japanese stuff, and I know he follows me and appreciates what I'm doing with my blog as well as my Twitter account. Next up, about the cards podcast, Steph, Shep, and Ben. I appreciate what you guys do for the hobby. I enjoy your podcast, and I try to watch as often as I can. But this year, Thursdays at 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock, I forgot what it comes out to be, but I have a class that period, so I haven't been able to watch you much this year, which has been a bummer. But I always rewatch your shows once they're done. I appreciate it, and I know that Ben and Steph have been helpful to me, and Shep does a great job running the show on our trading card. So I always look forward to watching your show. So I appreciate it. And I was able to meet both Shep and Steph at the National last year, so that was a pleasure. Next up, Vosbrink, Nick. He responds a lot to my Twitter feed. He's definitely near the top. And I know Nick appreciates my Mankos that I post, as well as my graphic design when I try and design cards or I have questions, and we seem to be on the same page as far as that goes. So I always look forward to seeing Nick respond. Mark Brubaker, he's also into Mankos and some Japanese cards, and he's also into design. So oftentimes I think of those two, Nick and Mark, together because they both enjoy graphic design and car designs and things like that. Booby Main. I met Booby at the National last year, so it was a pleasure. And he gave me a newspaper with one of the, I think it was a perfect game of Mark Burley newspaper. I think it was the Sun Times. But he occasionally posts with me as well, and will post music stuff and not always just baseball card stuff. So it's interesting to see what he might post. So Booby, it was a pleasure meeting you, and I look forward to our friendship. Ivan, everybody knows Ivan, watch the breaks. I was able to meet Ivan briefly at the National last year as well. But most importantly, I just want to say thanks to Ivan for doing his show, of course, and more importantly, his retweets. He retweets so much, and I appreciate that because I don't have. I mean, like I said, I have 900 followers, but it doesn't seem like I have 25 or 50. So I always appreciate when Ivan retweets stuff that I have, and he's interactive with me at times as well. So I appreciate Ivan for that. Steve Phantom, at Steve Phantom on Twitter. He lives in Australia, and I've been able to make some trades with him. I sent him some Korean cards, and he sent me a huge package a few months ago that I did a video on. So, Steve, I don't want to forget about you either. So just know that you are on my mind at times. And I'm sure there's people I'm messing around with. That I'm missing. I don't know who I'm missing, but I do want to mention some guys that I found more recently. Mike, card collector. I just started watching your videos. I just subscribed a few days ago. That's why I missed the contest. But your content seems really good, so I'm gonna keep watching your videos. Also, John, Wig Bogs Collector, I've watched. I just subscribed to you as well, and I've been enjoying your stuff. And Ziggy No, I know that I learned about you while you were also watching about the cards show. So I just subscribed to you, and I'll be watching some of your stuff as well. I'm really sorry if I missed anybody. There's so many people that I've been following, and Mike is right about the people being the most important thing about this hobby, because without the interaction, I don't think I can really go on and keep posting stuff unless I have people reacting to me or helping me out at times. So these are all the people that I wanted to mention. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you later. Bye bye.